there is one kind of vehicle that's criminally underrepresented in India, it would have to be the hot hatchback. You know, for years, customers in India always focused on aspects of a car such as what is the fuel efficiency, how affordable is it, how comfortable is it. But I think now, after so many years of car ownership, after the market maturing slowly, is the time where customers are focusing on other aspects of cars rather than just fuel efficiency and affordability. Now is the time when customers demand sportier versions, faster cars, more powerful engines, and Hyundai is right at this moment launching their hot hatchback, the Hyundai i20 N Line. The i20 N Line gets enhancements in suspension, in steering, in design of course, but we find out today if it's a true hot hatchback and does it offer a capable package to Indian customers.
You're watching the AutoX YouTube channel. You can also get your daily dose of all things automotive on our website, autox.com, and follow us on social media. Don't forget to check out our monthly magazine and make sure to hit the bell and subscribe button so you don't miss a thing.
You know, you have to realize that the i20 has been a tremendous success for Hyundai in India. It's one of the biggest markets for the i20 worldwide, and naturally so. It was the first premium hatchback that really struck a chord with Indian customers. But I think in its third generation, the i20's design has been a bit polarizing for Indian customers. A lot of customers, especially on our social media, on our YouTube, we see complaining that the design is too edgy, it's too radical. But I think it's a great looking car. Yes, there are a few aspects which are overdone, but overall I still think it's a good design that will really age on people, that will really grow on people. On the N Line, Hyundai has made an attempt to make it even more distinctive, and I think overall the effort works. What you get up front is a bigger grille. You get these red highlights which I really like, and this thunder blue color is absolutely fantastic. When paired with a contrast roof, this one has a body color roof, but you can also get an option of a contrast roof on the blue, on the red, and on one more color option. So when paired with the contrast roof, this blue, thunder blue looks really good, and especially these red highlights stand out. It has 16-inch alloys, again new design which is different compared to the regular i20. It also has N badging. I would have personally preferred 17, but you know, on our road 16 does the job slightly better, but I think it would fill the arches nicer. So if there was one enhancement visually that Hyundai could make to the i20 N Line, it would have to be bigger wheels. The side also gets more aggressive side sills, again the red detailing. You also get a more aggressive spoiler here. I like the rear view mirrors, finished in black. They look really good and they're very sleek looking. I think that's another design highlight of the car. At the back is where you see another big change. You get the N Line badging, of course. You get it on the front and on the fender and on the boot lid. And the exhaust has a nice sound to it. Despite being powered by a 1-liter 3-cylinder engine, it sounds quite rotty while not being too loud. And I'm quite fond of it. And I think it really works visually. Those twin pipes give it a lot of aggression. Overall, visually, I think the N Line is a good addition, in the sense a good enhancement of the standard i20, and it will certainly catch eyes on the road, particularly when finished in its wide red or blue shades. All three are very attractive looking. Let's find out what enhancements have been made to the N Line's interiors. On the interiors, I love the fact that the i20 in N Line also has a all black interior. I'm a fan of black interiors, so this really appeals to me. You also get this lovely red detailing all over the interior, even on the seats. The seats, even on the standard i20, are fantastic. They're really comfortable. You can spend many long hours in it, and I think even on the N Line, the seats work really well with this red detailing here, the N badging. They're great. You also get a new gear knob which is exclusive to the N versions, both on the IMT and on the automatic. What my favorite part of the interior though has to be the steering. It's just the right size to hold. It's got this lovely red detailing. I love the oversized paddle shifters, and in general it just feels like a nice place to be. You know, even on the standard i20, the interior quality was by far the best in the segment, and that is something the N Line carries over. So while it is also sporty, I still think we also have to regard the fact that this is the best finished, the best quality hatchback that you can currently buy in India. You know, I've driven the what we would call now the regular i20 quite extensively. I've taken it on long road trips, and some of the i20's inherent traits really benefit the N Line version. One of those is that the chassis of the i20, the new platform, is really stiff, which means it handles really well, and it handles the power that the 1 litre engine provides quite adequately. Also on the highway, it had really good high speed manners. It was great fun to drive, and the DCT was quite easy to use. But in the N Line, all that gets enhanced, because you see, while Hyundai has not changed the engine tuning of the i20 N Line, the 1 litre still produces 118 bhp. It's still an engine that really loves to rev, is very pleasant to use, great fun to drive. But they've stiffened up the suspension by about 30%, which means that the shocks are stiffer, and you can immediately feel that on our roads. On the really nice winding fast roads of Udaipur that we are driving, you can perceptibly feel that the i20 N Line is much more stable at high speed than the regular i20. It feels better tied down, it feels better at speed, and again the steering has also been tweaked on the N Line, so it's heavier, it gives you slightly better feel, and that sort of adds to the driving experience of the i20. It's stiffer, you can feel it, it's much better tied down, it gives you better ride and handling. And the earlier i20, the regular i20 rather, you could feel that the center of gravity in the car was very low. It was very well balanced along with the stiff chassis, and that feeling gets enhanced in the i20 even more. This is a car you will enjoy throwing around, taking fast curves in it. I mean, very minimal body roll. I think this is a really good driver's car. That's what I thought about the original i20 too, that it's a good driver's car, but the i20 N Line only enhances it. The other things that I like I talked about, the exterior detailing, which makes the N Line stand out. The interior, I think I prefer even more, because while I loved the regular i20's all black interiors, it also has this really classy red detailing all over. You get it in the stitching, you get it in the door grab, you get it in the AC vents. I love the N gear knob. This is something that works really well. But my favorite part would have to be the new steering. It's smaller, it's chunkier, it's really nice to hold. It's got this great red detailing, and I think the best part of it are the bigger paddle shifters here. These make it much more easier to use. The paddle shifters much more intuitive. They're easier to grab even when you're turning the steering. And I think that's a big improvement when it comes to ergonomics and the driving appeal. Sure, there are a few aspects of the i20 that will not suit everybody in the N Line version, that is. One, the stiff suspension is great when you're pushing on, when you're an enthusiastic driver, when you're on great roads. But on bad roads, the ride, as one would expect, gets choppy. Especially in the rear seat, my photography colleague was really complaining when we were on bad roads that the ride was a bit too stiff for him. So that's something you will have to live with. It's a compromise you make when you buy a sportier driver's car version of a regular hatchback. Two, I think the gearbox, the DCT, especially with these paddles, you can tell that the gearbox is tuned for efficiency. It feels lazy. It goes into very high gears, like I'm doing 80 kilometers an hour. It's already in 7th gear, which means the RPM has dropped down to below where the peak boost is. And so if I have to take immediate acceleration, let's say to overtake somebody, I have to drop down a couple of gears using the paddles. Yes, the paddle shifters make it easy to drop down gears or go up the gearbox, but I think inherently when Hyundai designed the N Line, they should have also designed it with a sports mode or a gearbox mode where the gearbox would be a bit more responsive. Is it something that's a deal breaker? No, it's not a deal breaker, but that's something that could be improved upon. And three, I think it's a pretty sporty looking car, and that could be polarizing for a few people, especially older people might not like the boy racerish highlights, the red detailing all over. So yes, that's something that might put a few percentage of the customers off. And lastly is the biggest elephant in the room. At nearly 12 lakh rupees ex showroom, 11.75 ex showroom for the DCT version that we are driving, the i20 N Line is pricey. Yes, the standard i20 is also pricey. If you look at the dual tone i20, that's currently at 11.45. So there are two aspects to this. One, if you look at the value proposition of the N Line versus the i20, at 30 grand you get a car that's more aggressive looking, has a nicer exhaust, nicer wheels. I love the steering and I like the interior detailing. So for 30k, it actually feels like a really good deal over the standard car. But when you view it in isolation vis-a-vis what other hatchbacks are priced at, 11.75, that's a lot of money. Is there a better driver's hatchback in India at this point in time than the i20 N Line? I don't think so. I think if you're looking for a distinctive, fun to drive, great looking hatchback and fantastic quality, I have to say, not just the best driver's car, I would have to say this is the hatchback with the best quality. The Jazz or the Baleno, its usual competitors are not even close. So yes, best quality, best driver's car in the segment, probably the best driver's hatchback in India, very few rivals anyway, but it's pricey. So that's the whole crux of the i20 N Line. I think it looks great, it drives really well. The additions, the enhancements made to the i20, the regular i20's platform, stiffer suspension, heavier steering, retuned steering, and all that works good. I also like the sound the engine makes. It's just slightly sporty, it's not too intrusive, which is good, because what you also realize, having owned a car with a loud exhaust for a long term, is that it gets boring after a while. And I think that's where it's a good compromise, that it's sporty, it's slightly louder, but it will not be something that you'll regret 6 months or a year down the line. So yes, coming back to my original point, great driver's car, great quality, very distinctive, a very, very, very good package. However, it comes at a price, and that price is quite a bit of a premium.